Hello dear viewer, I am leesusss and welcome to Rogue Tower. This was a game that, probably could have fallen into the new random games this series that I talked about the other day in the update video, but this one has just been released just the other day on Steam, I think on the 28th maybe. And so far I thought it might deserve its own little session, little play. It's a tower defense game with rogue and therefore random elements built into it as far as that goes. And I thought about various different ways of explaining the game, and I think this one's actually so straightforward. We can just try a game and we'll learn it as we go along. Okay, I played it a bit before, but just enough to do some tests, and then I thought we'd do more together. Yeah, we'd learn more together. So first of all, the first choice is how many lanes do you want going in towards your tower? Obviously, the more the harder. Single is easy mode. We're going to go with easy mode to start off with from there. Elevation gives towers a bonus to their base damage and range. Thank you very much, game. I like these little tips. They're very, very helpful indeed. So here's our tower, as far as that goes. Okay, and up here, I love the blocky sort of pixely aesthetic. By the way, we can't rotate the image, unfortunately, as far as I know, but we can move around a little bit. There we like that. Up here we have the tower health. So like any tower defense game, the creeps are going to come running down the road, and any that make it as far as your tower will do damage, one or more depending on the creep. We have some gold, and we have no mana. We have no way of generating mana at the moment, and no way of getting it. So we'll wipe out this later. And all we have is one type of tower, which as far as I know is what you always start with. So there you go, 50 gold. And we'll just plonk a pair of them down like that, and that should do for now. There we go. And then as soon as we click expand, we'll get a new tile placed over here, and some creeps will arrive. It's a gobbo. It was a gobbo. It's a goblin being killed instantly. There you go. And these are procedurally generated. So the look of the tile, what features might be on there, the elevation and everything else on here, and how many paths are coming off it are all random every time. And this is one of the major factors, obviously, in the game, in how much it changes and what sort of defense you build based upon what sort of spreading out you get. But we haven't got much choice right now. I'm going to have to expand over this way. But let's put our ballista up on top of here. And like the tip said, put a +3 here will increase the damage, and it will increase the range. And of course that's always good. Even without the damage, the range is good, because the longer that this thing can fire for, or the more it can hit enemies, the better as far as we're concerned. Anyway, so let's do one more. We'll put one here, and we'll expand again. Oh, got a bit of a bendy path, that's always good. Make the creeps take longer. More goblins. Get out of here, you little buggers. You're not going to have my stuff. There we go. We can expand again. We'll do one more over here. Oh, I don't want to spend all my gold, but I need to at this stage. By the way, in case you're wondering, I am expecting to lose this game. Okay, we're not going to get very far with just the basic stuff that we have at the moment, but we'll see how we get on. The game eases you into it gently as far as that goes. And there you go. You see the little guys here. You can see their health. Get to the tower. If they every now and then some groups of enemies can affect themselves in different ways. So for example, they can bolster themselves, which reduces the damage they take, and others can haste themselves, like the little goblin there shouting, "Get to the tower!" He's making his mates all run faster, which is worrying, obviously, but we can deal with that. So we've got 3 options here. Every 3 levels, three turns that you get through. Levels is not a good description term. Every time you get through 3 turns, you get offered some cards, and what cards you get offered depends on what unlocks you've made and what upgrades you've made. At the moment, we've got the basic set. I've reset the game for your benefit, so that we learn along together, and you don't see too much too soon. We can go into upgrades later. We can't do it yet because we have to spend experience that we get from winning and losing the game to get new cards. Anyway. Sip of hot drink. Right, so we've got 3 options here, completely random. We've got frost bolts, which is nice. Slows down the enemies. That's pretty good. Hasn't got any cost to it either. We'd have to spend anything to get this, in terms of, we'd have to spend any mana or anything like that to do it. It just does it. This one's an interesting one. All towers gain critical chance equal to their level, but lose 1 base damage. Now, I don't know if you saw any there, but some of these towers, as they shoot, they will go up a level. And that means that they increase their chance of critical damage. So they're going to be weaker but they do more crits. This might be a really good play in certain ways, but I don't trust it enough to do it as far as that goes. I can't afford to lose damage. And the other thing is the mana siphon. Lovely. So this is what we need to get mana. We haven't seen the mana blocks yet, crystals yet, but you'll find blocks on the landscape, and certain weapons have to use mana, or some upgrades have to use mana to work. But this one for now, I think this is the no-brainer, the frost bolts, because slowing them down gives us more chance to shoot them and do more damage. Also notice, by the way, the cost is now got up here, plus 5% slow. The game's fairly good at informing you about things, and the cost goes up every time we buy a new tower of the same type. Okay, so we've got to bear that in mind if at all possible. And we'll do one more expansion and then we'll talk about something else about the towers. There's a mana crystal. So you have to put siphons around it on the cardinal directions, well, the kind of cardinal directions, to suck mana out of it and get a region of mana, which of course gets used up by different towers. Don't be hasting each other, guys. Just get out of it, okay? Right. This is an iron vein. Now, we haven't seen mines yet, but if we find mines, then we can use these to get resources, a different sort of resource from that. Now, back to the towers for a second, back for the ballistas. If we look at one now, so you can see the typical stats you get with any tower within a tower defense game. You can see how much damage it does, you know, a multiplier of damages it has on various other things. So for example, it's very good at doing health damage, not so good at armor and shield. Now we haven't seen armor and shielded enemies yet, but we will do, and that's important to know what towers do damage to what. So ballistas are good for damaging health. We see rate of fire per minute and the range it can see, and of course this one up here ranges further because it's up on top of the mountain, or up top of the hill over here. We also see things like, you know, it's got cold, slow damage, hasn't got any bleed, fire or poison damage, which is also useful. And the other thing is you can upgrade individual stats on the tower by spending money. I don't tend to do this very much, but for like more unique towers you might want to do that. And then we can demolish the tower for the same amount that we paid for it, which is nice. However, I don't think you get the benefit if your towers have gone up in levels. Hold on, let's have a look. No, we're not getting the benefit, so we lose the experience if we demolish this, the level 2, and it will go up in levels as they do damage. Now the other thing is about target priority, always important in a good tower defense game. So we can say on here, you know, target the enemy with the most armor and the most shield and the least health. There we go. We can specify in different ones how to target exactly. And these are not either ors. These are all a collective. This is a collective calculation the tower makes for everything in its target range. So every enemy that's running past it, it will pick the one that matches this best. It doesn't look at this one and then this one and this one. It looks at them all collectively. So you can do quite refined targeting. Generally, for these sort of basic towers, I don't try to do much of this sort of faffing around with different things. Except maybe just to, you know, for more specialised towers, the rare. I don't know. You always have a lot of ballistas, of course. It's a cheap tower, and it's a common one that you use. But for other towers, I might mess around more with the different settings on here. But you know, I try to put something on one of these, but it gets too complicated after a while to do it. There's also a reason why I've turned the music down quite a lot as well, and the sounds down, because it can get, if we get into things later, it can get pretty ruddy hectic. It is nice. We have, oh, shield. There you go. These two little gits here, I've got shields on them. Yeah, little yellow bars. I need the oh dear, they're getting a bit close. The ballistas are not great against shields. We would like to have some new weapons, really. Are they going to get through? One of them, maybe? No, we managed to deal with them. Okay. The goblins are learning. They've got shields. It's more like a magical shield, by the way, rather than a physical shield, as far as it goes. This is a useful one. This is a house or a town. This is a town. Was it just as a house? If we put ballistas next to it, like this, in these points here, then we get money for it. This house is protected by one tower. Its next gift will be 6 gold. Okay, so it gets gold based upon, I think, the level you're on. Yeah, the level you're on. Maybe the level of the towers as well? I'm not sure. Anyway, as far as that goes. And the other thing is, some houses are more useful than others because the tower has to be on the same flat level. It can't be one higher and it can't be diagonally to get the benefit. Okay. There we go. Let's go for slowest. Right, there we go. This is quite nice, by the way. I like this. Quite the fact it's curved. We haven't got any splits yet in the path, and it is curving back. I can't build any more towers. Oh, how am I going to get through? I don't have enough upgrades. Come on, you little devils. Maybe I'm going to get them after all. There we go. We're all right. You can repair the tower. It's just tricky to do. We haven't got any mana using... I tend to grab this one earlier, once I'm further through the game. Get it as soon as possible so I've got mana coming in, but I haven't got any... Oh, actually, I have got a use for it, kind of. So, I haven't got any mana using towers yet. Unlocked. This would be great. Ballistas now can consume a small amount of mana and gain +3 base damage. That's fabulous. Except, of course, we can't make any mana. We want this and then this. But I'm not going to pick this on the off chance I might get a mana tower next, or this one back again. That's too big a risk. So it's going to go for +1 range. And of course the things that you get offered here in the cards is of course the other major factor in what happens. So what's so good about this is of course, even if it turns off this way, we've got an area here where the towers can reach out and tickle enemies coming in on both paths. And of course we've spent a lot of money on these towers. We want to achieve as much with them as possible. Yes, there we go. The other thing is about shields and armour. So the way that it's arranged on the character, you always get health bar first, then you get, if you've got armour, a block of armour, and then after that a block of shield. And you have to break through the shield and then the armour, like this guy's got some shield here, before you can start eating into their health and finally kill them. It's important, of course, for the arrangement of your towers. And certain towers are better at eating away at shields and armour than others. You know what, it's all going kind of okay so far. So I reckon if I put a tower here, let's kill this little fool. There might actually be an orc, you know, rather than a goblin, that one there. If I put one here, I should be able to reach out to hit them over here and over here with that +1 range. There we go. Who are we after? Most shield. Why not? Okay, now it's turning off. But we still haven't got a split though. We haven't got like a two-way split. That's something we have to factor in. But I think at this rate here, everything's going to be coming down this way. No matter what splitting and branching happens later on, we need to put a lot more towers into here. Hopefully with range boosts. How far can these guys reach? Quite a long way. So we can hit this side and this side together. This is going to be a tower hotspot, probably all along here actually, really. Now of course you can't group your towers too close together, but then you can't spread them too far apart. Especially when you've got enemies that regenerate later. Oh yes, of course, that's a staple of games like this, isn't it? Regenerating enemies. You want to keep thumping them all the way through. That's definitely an orc, isn't it? That's an orc. Definitely, that's not a gobbo there. Oh, that was a gobbo there. His little corpse is gone. Right, we can still afford these. It would be nice soon. Oh, there's a split. There we go. It'd be nice soon to get some new weapons, but this is what it's like the first time you play, unfortunately. It's just how it is. There's a lack of variety. You're still getting used to how the game works. That's a lot of shield. Maybe if we kill a few of these, we'll get enough for another ballista. 180 now to buy these. Yeah. Towers. By the way, another thing you might, if you're a tower defense aficionado, you might think about things like, you know, how long does it take for a tower to re-target something? Can it get caught if it's got a different, you know, if it's got some different target priorities over here? Does it end up flicking between different targets? Does it take time for retarget on things? And the answer is no. If you watch the towers, oops, they do aim very quickly. So aiming time is not a lag in this. If you want, don't be rushing each other and get all chummy with your mates. Oh, someone's going to get through. One of them's going to get through at least. Two of them. There we go. Right, okay. The way to repair a tower is the mines. Okay, later on there's a chance of your tower repairing automatically, but the general purpose is to build a mine around one of these iron ore sites around here, and that increases the chances of a repair happening every turn, and it'll creep this up, and it will also, by having a mine here, will also increase the overall health of your tower. So we've still got the mana bolts, which is nice, but we haven't got the mana because we didn't know last time. We have got the new weapon, one of the base weapons we've unlocked from here, the mortar tower, which is lovely, but we can't afford it yet. We can put this in. This one's a good. Ooh, just slap it down around here somewhere. Let's get enough money if we can. What are we going to expand to? Okay, so they're now going to come in from this side and this side. Okay, so if I expand over here, they're still going to come in from here, so they're obviously a bit closer to the tower by spawning in here. So we want to spread out evenly to make sure no one's spawning too close, and it gives us more time to shoot them. Come on, give me this mortar. Okay, let's put the mortar. Oh, I can't do it when it's paused, that's a shame. Okay, the mortar's going to go around about here, I think, to get as much. What? Did I build it? Oh, I accidentally clicked in the wrong place. Actually, here. Put that one on later. Now, the thing about mortars... I can pause for a second so nothing crazy happens while we're going. Mortars are best against armour. Okay? They're generally so-so against health, and they're bad against shield. If you... Okay, yeah, we'll talk about damage over time later. As far it doesn't matter yet. But essentially, yeah. So therefore, it makes sense for here because it hits armour. We want to target the ones with the most armour with the mortar. But of course, the best thing about it is it's an AOE, and therefore, hopefully, we'll splash on the little guys while we're killing the big guys. Oh, it's getting bad again. It's getting close again. But the mortar has an absolutely huge range. Look at that. Marvellous. So we're getting all the way over here. We could put another one up this way as well. I'm going to save up for another mortar, I think. Let's spread it over this way a little bit. And we could probably put some things around here as well. But I reckon another mortar over here will really wear things down. And we've got some shieldy guys coming in. Before long we'll have some with armour as well, which will be a grey bar between the green and the yellow. It's all going quite well though. I've had games end very quickly in the last. Actually, I know what was most likely to kill me, actually. Yeah, I know which enemy's most likely to get me on the first run. We'll come to that. Anyway, the other thing about the game starts to get... There's no speed up button on here, so the games do start to get quite long with some of the runs till later. So this is not going to be a full Let's Play, because you could watch me for like hours doing some of the later levels. I don't think it probably be very entertaining as far as that goes. But I thought it's a good game to cover to see if you want to get it and play it. And it is a lot of fun. What have we got there? Oh, look at this guy. Has he got armour? I thought that guy had armour there for a second. A shield on him. We do have enough for a mortar now. We'll put you in here. We're a little bit outside the range, but that's okay. And again, most armour. Sure. Oh, new enemy coming in. So this thing here, this little wheeled palisade, or maybe a battering ram of some sort here. These little guys running past. Hold on. That one's got armour, I think. No, maybe not. This looks a bit tougher. Wooden armour, maybe. Not very good armour. Leather armour. This is full of gobos and orcs. Okay, so we need to smash this first. There's a lot of shield on there. We need to smash this first. And once we smash this, they'll pour out. With more coming in. They tend to be quite slow. And the ballista is helping, I guess, with having its slow effect as well. That's probably keeping us alive right now, actually. That lucky pick up there. We've got to really hammer these guys. As soon as they come out, we need to annihilate them as quickly as possible. I think another ballista here would be nice, because I want to give the mortars as much time to smash them as possible. Come on. Nice. Okay, another upgrade. More slow, which could be good, or more damage to armour. I still think it's hard to beat slowing things down. Yeah, 279. Can I build another one? I can build another one. Where shall I build it? If we build it here, I know I would put stuff over here, but if I... Again, I want to slow them down to give as much time as possible for the mortars to hit them. Okay. Expansion has become boring again up here. Another house up there. It's too far away, though. We'll possibly build another tower over here, just to get a bit more money. How much money are we getting out of this now? Nice. 28 gold of the next one. Everything helps, of course. Every little bit of gold helps. But next time we play, when this all ultimately goes wrong, we'll be able to pick new cards, new types of cards, the more valuable cards. We'll be able to pick passives as well, passive effects that will go through here as well. And I found that I think I was able to beat the basic level of the game, which is 45 levels, 45 of these up here, after about the third round of unlocks. So it's not very hard, but of course I was playing the easy version of the game. I haven't even tried two passages going towards it yet, but at some point. Oh, these guys are getting slowed down. Nice little indicators on there to show they're being slowed. Oh, okay. Ready to come. Ah! Run, fellas, run. Nice. 499. Now, we're expecting... Ooh, what do I do? I don't want to buy another mortar just yet. I'd rather buy nearly... No, I could probably buy two... Yeah, probably buy two ballistas. There we go. It's reaching all the way over here, look. Let's go for the fastest to try and slow the little gits down. And... Yeah, another one over here again. I don't want to put anything over here. I would rather put it over here to hopefully... Again, give the mortar more time. Now, I'm expecting a boss before long. I can't remember which level he comes out on. But there are various mini-bosses in the game. Getting pretty busy over here, isn't it? This will be another great place. I mean, that's really high up there. That's 3 again. There'll be another place, a great place for a... I might pretty expand... I'm trying to expand over this way, you know? You know, give them a continual battering all the way through. Yeah, the multiple mini-bosses at particular stages. Maybe at stage 15? I don't know. The only thing I'm not quite sure about, I don't understand about the game, is how the leveling works. So, you can see that as the tower has been leveled, it does more damage to everything, shield and armour and everything else. But I think possibly that what it's doing most damage, the type it's doing most damage of, is what increases every time. So in other words, if this is doing mostly health damage, there's a bias to it going up a level and doing even more health damage again. So therefore, that would suggest that the target priority has an effect on, you know, what damage you do. That might not be true, but I don't know. I've got a feeling like it might be. But I've never been able to analyse it. Not had two towers like doing two different things and leveling up at the same time to be able to track them like that. If I put one here, should we do that? Keep expanding out this way? Keep trickling out this way? Yeah, why not? Eh? Let's go for most health here, and we'll put one more down here. We'll put a mortar out here soon. Yeah, just randomly selecting things there. Again, I'm not even really sure of the use of doing that. Ah, here he comes. Here comes Oogie, who's a very big fella. I'm not sure if he's a big orc, like an overfed orc, or he's a giant, or what he is. But he's big and he's green and he's not very nice. So he's got a lot of health to wear him down. He's probably one of the slowest. So he's being slowed down. Little blue line on the bar. He's being worn down. He's got no shield, thankfully. have to grind him down over quite a distance now, I imagine. Do I want to build another mortar? Most of them have gone past. I want to build another mortar over here, but I'll build it now. I feel like it might not be doing the most damage it could be. I could fucking build one here, actually. It wouldn't be terrible to build one over this way. How are we doing? Oogie's taken a few knocks, but not that much. Come on, guys. Oh! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They're all hasted. The grey bar above them, where they're rushing. I think they're even bolster yet, when they take less damage. Which is a good thing. Right, just kill this lot off. And then we can focus on Oogie and grind him down. And the reward for that, we will get some treasure. More cards. Okay, I think Oogie's the only one left now. Slam him next week, guys. Come on, finish him off. Finish him off. We'll leave him lumbering along. Massively slowed now. The poor guy. I'm sorry, Yugi. Right, so first of all, this is not the treasure. We get a level up for this. We get... Okay, I might take a gamble. I think I might get offered mana at some point. So I'm going to do this. Now, I'm presuming if you haven't got any mana, that the bolts won't do the extra damage. But I don't actually know. And there's 2 chests here. Okay, more damage to health. Damn it. Okay, we've got 2 choices here. So, bleed damage. Bleed damage is like the slow. It's another damage over time. It... Well, actually, it's not. No, it's not a damage over time. But slow is not a damage over time. Slow is a status effect. Bleed is a damage over time. So there are 3 types. There's bleed, there's burning, and there's poison. Bleed is good against health. Fire is good against armor, and poison is good against shields. If you're trying to damage the wrong thing, so for example, bleed damage doesn't do very much, just like half the effect to shields and armor, and the same thing for other types. So fire does less to health, it does more to armor and less to shields. So this is a good thing to put on there to grind their health away, but do we want to get rid of the armor? We'll go for this for now. We didn't get the mana though, so we've got a problem up here that we've got bolts that should use mana, and we've got mana crystals, but we ain't got no mana income, so I'm not sure what come on. Okay. Gravestones, a new item, and a new enemy. Zombies. Zombies are very tough and very slow. There we go. Grey bars. That is armour. So the zombies have a lot of armour, but not much health. Can we just... Okay. 1 second. I've been remiss in my building. If I build a mortar here... Hopefully that'll get them. Okay. Another mortar or 2 ballista? 2 ballista, I think. And 1 more over... here. Okay. How are we going to do against this? I really don't know. These guys have got some shield. No magical shielding. Are my bolts still firing? You know what? I have done myself. Well, we did a bit of science. We learned something, which is that we're not doing much damage. This is the end, folks. Let's let it go to the end. I did wonder about what happens if you do mana damage on these boats when you haven't got any mana. So if you some weapons only use mana, okay, and if you haven't got any mana, then they don't do anything. Apparently, by selecting mana bolts on my ballistas, I made them effectively completely dependent on mana. Come on, guys, everyone, come in. Take your time. Take your time, zombies. There's no tower left for you to attack now, anyway. But there you go. Yeah, so that was a bit of a mistake on my part, but I learned something because I never knew that happened. I've never been stupid enough to select that in the past. But you know what it's like when I do Let's Plays. I'm far more willing to do stupid things just for your amusement. Anyway, it's fine. We didn't lose anything. We only gained, because we gained XP. That's right. So we've got some XP to spend. We've got 480 to spend. So here's the upgrade section. Okay, it's quite big. Okay, so 2 sections. This lot over here are permanent upgrades of different sorts. Yeah, and this lot over here are cards that you'll get offered in the game. So first of all, let's have a look at the permanent buffs. Are always nice. So for example, card draw +1. Draw an additional card. So when they offer us cards, if I do this, then now we get more. We get 4 choices, which is always better than 3. And of course, gold drop. Yes, please. We want more gold. We want 1 more gold every time the enemies die. I was like, no-brainer selections at the start. Okay, and notice some of these as well. Some of these are not just about XP. Some of these are locked behind unlock barriers. So to get gold drop 2, I have to unlock 5 of these cards. Not these cards. 5 of these cards to get that available. And that means you can't try to just angle down one very tight path of I only care about these sort of upgrades. You have to spread yourselves out a bit more than that. Generate 1 mana per second at the tower, which is nice. It wouldn't have saved us from my last stupid mistake, but it's quite good. And increase mana capacity. I could do this anyway. You know what? I could do this anyway. That's fine. It doesn't do any harm. A little bit of mana. It's always nice. It gets a little stopgap sometimes. Fortification. Increase your tower hit points by 1. Nah, we're fine. What we do want to unlock, though, is the mine. We need the mine so we can build it next to iron things and therefore get repairs and possible repairs and more health on the tower. Mana bank's nice. This is a bit like a mana siphon. It doesn't have to be near anything. It just generates mana a second and increases the maximum amount of mana we have. It says to the magic market, and there's a dollar symbol here, which makes me feel like it's related to your money, but I don't think it is. I'm not sure. But I've used these. So in previous runs, I've not had any of these mana siphons sucking mana out because I didn't get offered it. But I have had tons of the mana banks just generating mana. And that's been worked pretty well for a mana-heavy build. But we'll leave them for now. Haunted House. It consumes mana. And when you saw those gravestones on some of the later squares, it sucks money out of the graves in exchange for mana. I've not tried this yet, but that sounds awesome. And then University. We haven't seen the occult shrines. These appear later in the game. But if you build a university next to an occult shrine, then we get some sort of global bonus out of it. What that means, I don't know. But what we need to focus on now, we've got a lot of these. Yeah, we've got a lot of these ballista upgrades already unlocked. But what about things for the mortar? So actually, before we do that, we haven't seen a Tesla coil yet, but we'll come back to that later. Let's unlock something else first. We'll unlock a couple of my favourite ones. The Frost Keep uses mana to slow enemies nearby. I've had a lot of success with these in the past. We have the Flamethrower, which uses mana to burn through armour. Bad against shields, though. And the Poison Sprayer, which is much like this, but it burns through shields, not armour. Okay, these are both very similar. And the good thing is, they're very similar actually. They both use mana, as far as that goes. And then we've got a few little cheap upgrades from here. We'll come back to those in a minute. These ones over here, I won't do these yet. There's some better weapons. So we've got, the next grade is a bouncing blade, a shredder, we've got mines, we've got a lookout tower that buffs damage on particular enemies, and we've got the really expensive ones, the radar and the obelisk and the particle cannon, which will do even more damage again. The problem with these, they may look enticing now, but in the game these can be very expensive to buy themselves. So for example, the obelisk will cost you 1,000 gold for the very first one you get. That's quite steep when you haven't got a lot of gold coming in yet, because you haven't got a lot of these unlocks. So that may be tempting to get these. It's not actually that useful though. And also these are very mana heavy. So again, unless you've got boosted mana intake, you're probably not going to be able to use these weapons very well. You're better off stepping things up slowly. So this is why we've gone to the Frost Keep, and we'll increase all of the basic ones from here, the 5 XP ones. These ones are quite nice, by the way. So you notice these are typical, just, buff damage and range and everything else and that kind of thing. These ones here, Fuel Saturation 1. All flamethrowers do an extra 50% burn damage, which applies over time. This is a lovely one. So ones like this, if you've got these available, again, you won't be necessarily offered them, but if you've gone, for example, what you will find is when you play a typical game, you will find yourself going very heavily down one or two routes of damage based upon what you're offered as far as the cards. So one play you might have just tons of, you might get offered poison throwers early on, and then suddenly a lot of your build is poison thrower, which means that you want to get as much out of this poison as possible. So therefore you want cards like this that will buff all of the poison throwers that you've built. Yeah, so you'd like these ones where you're going to buff groups of them, but it might happen for flame as well. You might have a lot of flamethrowers, you might have a lot of slow frost towers, and then you're chipping them away with the blisters or the mortars, but you're slowing them down with lots of frost towers. So these sorts of upgrades that apply to all the one sort of weapon are very useful indeed. We're probably eating through the last of our thing. 45 left. Do I want to do any of these? These ones over here will affect all of our damage over time. So bleed damage, fire damage, and poison damage. And we've got some random ones down the end. These are interesting and kind of risky. Remember, this is going to be applied all the time once you've done it on your game. When enemies drop more gold, they deal more damage if they hit the tower. Interesting. All enemies generate 1 mana when they die, but their speed is increased by +1.1. Is that really relevant? I don't know. I've not tried it yet. It sounds a risky strategy. Sometimes risky strategies are the best strategies. What else should we do with our last 45 points? We should do... card draw 2. Let's unlock one more thing over here. Let's unlock... You know, I do like those quite a lot. Oh, we can't quite do it. This would draw us an additional card when upgrading things. Never mind. Okay, let's just throw it away somewhere. Let's well, not throw it away. Let's bleed them. Bleed them. Okay, so there you go. So next time we play, we will have one of those upgrades, and we'll get offered more cards as far as that goes. And then you can see the monster manual if you want to on there as well. Anyway, so there you go. So this is Rogue Tower. Now, as I say, I'm not going to be playing a full Let's Play of this because I think you'd be bored out of your mind if I regularly ran hours and hours of me playing this game. Maybe you wouldn't. You can tell me one way or the other. But the point is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play maybe 1 or 2 more games of this, one or 2 more videos to show you some of the better towers. And there you go. I think that's a nice little introduction to the game, and you can decide if you want to get it or not. It's pretty cheap. It's like 15 quid on Steam, I think, like that. Just been released recently. It's a lovely game. I'm sure AR Mason's going to be putting more upgrades on here and more changes. A fabulous game for the money. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this. Take care of yourself. I shall see you again next time.